For over a century, society has treated cognitive intelligence as the primary predictor of success. We are taught that the person who scores highest on these standardized tests is the one who will naturally be the most influential and effective. However, data gathered across every industry shows that EQ accounts for 58% of job performance. While cognitive ability helps master technical tasks, individuals with high emotional intelligence are more likely to land leadership roles and see an average salary increase of $1,300 for every point they gain on an EQ test. This shift in how we define human potential reached the mainstream in 1995, when psychologist Daniel Goleman introduced the concept of emotional intelligence to a global audience. The reason this skill is so difficult to master is biological. When we experience stress, the amygdala, the brain's ancient threat detector, overtakes the prefrontal cortex, causing us to react impulsively rather than logically. To prevent this, we can implement a 4-step daily EQ habit loop. This is a sequence of micro-habits designed to help you process and regulate these internal stress responses as they happen. This system does not require a high starting IQ. It requires a few minutes of daily focus and one real-world interaction today to begin practicing. Step 1 is the mental mirror. Every morning, take 60 seconds to observe your emotional baseline. The goal is objective observation. You are checking in with your current state without judging the emotion or trying to explain why it is there. You might recognize that you feel rushed or anxious before you even leave the house. By identifying the state early, you prevent it from unconsciously driving your decisions for the rest of the day. It is important to distinguish this from emotional suppression. Ignoring a feeling does not eliminate it. Researchers have found that suppressed emotions often return with greater intensity later on. Step 1 is mandatory because you cannot regulate a reaction that you haven't first acknowledged. Step 2 is the 3-second rule. When you are triggered by a rude email or a sharp comment, count to 3 and breathe before you respond. This delay serves a neurological purpose. It provides the time necessary for the signal to travel from the emotional amygdala to the rational prefrontal cortex, allowing logic to catch up with your initial reaction. While you are pausing, you move to step 3, name to tame. This involves identifying the specific emotion you are feeling in that moment. Use a specific internal script. Say to yourself, "This is frustration," or "I am feeling defensive." Neuroscience shows that this simple act of labeling an emotion helps calm the nervous system and reduces the intensity of the physiological stress response. If you are in a high-pressure situation and forget the rest of the system, this 3-second pause is your most important fail-safe against an impulsive reaction. By interrupting the cycle, you stop being a passenger to your biological impulses and start choosing your response. Once you have regulated your own state, you can move to step 4, the curiosity pivot. This shifts your focus from your own internal reaction to the other person's perspective. When someone is being difficult, the natural reaction is to become defensive. A curiosity pivot requires you to consciously replace that defensiveness with an attempt to understand their motivation. Instead of labeling them as the problem, ask yourself, what might be driving their behavior? Or what is their perspective in this situation? This mental shift leads to active listening. You give the other person the space to speak without the immediate need to correct or interrupt them. In many cases, you will see the tension in the room drop as soon as the other person realizes they are being heard rather than managed. Empathy is not about agreeing with someone's behavior. It is a strategic tool used to de-escalate conflict and establish the rapport needed to solve problems effectively. Combined, these steps form a complete loop: check-in, pause, name, and pivot. Consistently practicing these micro-habits utilizes neuroplasticity to strengthen the neural pathways responsible for emotional regulation. With daily repetition, the pause, before you react, becomes more natural and requires less conscious effort. Your immediate homework is to perform one empathy workout today. This can be with a colleague, a partner, or even a barista. Before you speak, try to guess their emotional state. Then gently check in, for example, by saying, "You look really focused today." Note how it changes the dynamic of the interaction. Try this for one day and share your biggest EQ challenge in the comments. Mastering all these mechanics ensures that your technical skills are supported by the emotional stability needed for long-term career success.